point in your cello playing career, your teacher has almost certainly pestered you about keeping your bow straight. And you may have asked yourself why you should care whether your bow is straight or not, but in fact there is a really good reason, and that is that you can't get your best sound unless your bow is straight. And by straight, what I mean is parallel to the bridge and the fingerboard. So not straight, not straight, straight. Okay? And the beauty of having a straight bow is that when you've got it straight, playing the cello literally feels in your fingers easy and good. And when your bow is not straight, you will have to fight to keep it in a relatively normal contact point. So if my bow is crooked this way, and I just pull the bow without trying to maintain my contact point, it will do this. And if my bow is crooked this way, and I pull it, it will do this. Right? It will slide down. And it's only when your bow is straight that it will keep itself in a consistent contact point, which will mean you'll be able to get your best sound. And when I say that it feels easy to play, I don't mean that I didn't have to work long and hard to keep my bow straight and learn how to do this and get the right angle. But what I do mean is that there's this feeling of non-resistance on the string. It feels like there's just this smooth path that my bow can glide in. Whereas if it's crooked at all and I want to keep it there, I have to sort of fight with the friction on the string. So, many different ways you can work on straight bows. One would be to practice in front of a mirror, because I certainly can sympathize that when you're sitting here playing, it's just plain hard to tell if your bow is straight or not. The angle looks kind of weird. One way you can think about it is, do you see an X shape with your string, or do you see a T shape? That's one way you can maybe see it, whether it's straight or not from here. Besides that, though, it's pretty hard. So having a mirror in front of you to reflect back whether it's straight or not can make your life much easier. Some other things you can do. I have a video, I think maybe it's called like riding the bow, something like that. I made it a long, long time ago. And it's an exercise you need to do with another person. But that person will hold the bow out here, and you practice feeling that path of the bow. And you do it on all the different strings. Another thing you can do to practice that different angle that will help you keep your bow straight is to put yourself right on the bridge. I'm on top of the bridge, and I'm just going to rock back and forth so I can feel what a straight bow angle is on the A string, what a straight bow angle is on the D string, G string, C string, etc., and how I will get back and forth between all of those. And what I'm looking for right now when I do this is that I'm maintaining a consistent amount of hair on the bridge at all times. So I'm not flopping around on it, but I'm maintaining a consistent angle between my stick, my bow stick, and the bridge. And I would try that at the frog. I would try that out a little further, balance point middle, and you'll find it gets harder as you go further out. A little further out. Now the reason this is harder, of course, is because my arm position has to change significantly more from this straight on the A string angle to this straight on the C string angle. And then when I'm way out the tip, whoo, that's a long reach. In fact, I can barely reach because my arms aren't that long. So if you find that you are a person who can barely reach when you're all the way out at the tip, that just might mean that you don't actually want to go all the way to the tip. Maybe you are a person who should only go this far because otherwise your bow will get crooked. Another consideration, and this is kind of getting into like very heady stuff here, but what's going to keep your bow straight is how your arm is bending, basically. So if I do not change the relationship between my arm or hand and arm, otherwise if my wrist does not bend, then even if I'm perfectly straight at the frog, oops, I can't do it. See, I've had too much practice doing straight bows. It's hard for me to do crooked bows. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I did not make any adjustment here in my wrist, and so although my bow is perfectly straight here, my bow is most certainly not straight there, right? So what has to happen is as I go out towards the tip of the bow, this joint right here is going to change position. Now you'll notice when I'm here at the frog, I've got a little bit of a notch or V shape on the outside of my wrist. And when I get out to the tip, now that shape, that V shape, is on the other side. Okay? And that should be a smooth transition as I go from tip to frog. Okay? So it's not that all of a sudden I went like that or like that. It's that almost imperceptibly as I go out, the little notch shape changes from here to here. And that makes it so that I can keep my best bow hold the whole time, right? Nothing changes about the relationship between my hand and fingers and bow. That angle stays the same. What does change is the wrist, okay? So I don't know if you can see that very well, but again, when I'm out here, a little bit of a notch shape here, and when I'm at the frog, a little bit of a notch shape on the other side, and if that transition is smooth, chances are good that my bow will be smooth and the path of my bow will be smooth. Now, when I'm straight on the A string, it will feel like I'm reaching out and forward quite a bit. When I'm straight on the C string, it will feel like I'm coming back by my side almost, pretty low and down next to my body. And so each string has a very different path that is straight, and so you have to kind of basically learn those paths all separately. And when you're changing strings, that means you need to change path of your bow. So straight bows are not a simple concept, not at all, but they are a thing that is worth working on because they will improve your sound enormously. If your bow is straight, your sound will be better. And you'll just be able to control more with your dynamics and your phrase shapes and all of that thing. So it is worth working on. Try it in the mirror. Try doing some of these types of exercises, like the ride on the bow one. But mainly, if someone tells you your bow is crooked, take that to heart and figure out how you can straighten it, because it is a big deal. All right? So, best of luck with your straight bows. Have fun.